Hi guys, welcome to this week's screencast on joints. So first of all, your corner notes needs to look like this if you pause this and get this done. Right, okay, so there are three classifications of joints that we need to know about. These are fixed joints, slightly movable joints, and synovial joints. Now, there are 6 joints underneath synovial joints, and these are the ones that we're going to be concentrating on in lesson. So first of all, fixed joint or fibrous joint. The joints are held together by tough fibrous tissue and do not move. An example of this is your cranium. So you have different bones in your cranium and they're made up here to create joints, but they're fibrous joints that do not move. So slightly movable or cartilaginous joints. Small amount of movement. Ends are covered in cartilage to reduce friction between the bones, i.e. the vertebrae. So there's not much movement in here. And they're slightly movable joints. Synovial joints or freely movable joints. These allow large range of movement. Ends are covered in hyaline cartilage, and we need to know 6. So ball and socket, so your shoulder and your elbow. Ball and socket, shoulder and hip. Hinge, elbow, knee. Condyloid, you've got your wrist. Saddle, your thumb. Gliding will be your carpals or your tarsals, and pivot is your neck. But we're going to go into more detail about them now. So, ball and socket joint. Ball shape fits into a cup shape. So, the head of the humerus is shaped like a ball, and on your scapula and your shoulder, you have this concave surface there. Concave means when it comes in, and the ball and socket just fit into each other like that, and it allows a wide range of movement. And the examples are your hip and your shoulder. Sporting examples, hurdles or throwing in javelin. So it's important to get the actual examples for hip and shoulder and the sporting examples in your corner notes. So your next one, hinge joint, allow movement in one direction, forwards and backwards, or flexion and extension as you'll know it in a few weeks' time. Elbow and knee an example, and in sporting example, running or a bicep curl at the elbow. When you think of hinge joint, think of a door. A door only goes forwards and backwards. Condyloid joint, similar to a ball and socket joint with flatter bone surfaces to allow motion in 2 directions, forwards and backwards, so flexion extension, and side to side, abduction and adduction, e.g. your wrist joint. So here. Sporting example is dribbling in basketball. Now, with regards to these movements, flexion, extension, abduction, adduction, we will be doing the movements next week, so it will make more sense, be clearer to you then. Saddle joint, so surfaces concave and convex. The joint is shaped like a saddle with the other bone resting on it like a rider on a horse. Allows motion in 2 directions as well, flexion, extension, and abduction, adduction. An example is your thumb, with the sporting example being gripping a racket in tennis or squash. Gliding joint, allow movements over a flat surface in all directions and restricted by ligaments. So as I said earlier, carpals and tarsals are an example of this. And a sporting example, netball joint with the foot pointing downwards. And here, these are your carpals, just here, these coloured ones. So the joints in between these are known as gliding joints. As you can see, they'll glide over each other or between each other. A pivot joint, so it allows rotational movement. Ring of a bone fits over the peg of another one, e.g. atlas and axis of the neck. Sporting example, rotating your neck in netball.